Okay, still working on the same stuff. We're still basically simplifying algebraic expressions, except for now we're going to add kind of a twist to it. We're going to actually evaluate them after we plug something in for a variable. So think about the previous video where we got an expression, I don't exactly remember what it was, but something like 4x plus 5 for our final answer. We couldn't go any further because we didn't know what x was. Well, now with evaluating, we're going to know what x is, or whatever letter or variable it is we're dealing with. So we always want to start when we plug something in by plugging it in inside of parentheses, which can sometimes be confusing because it tends to have a lot of parentheses to begin with. But as we determine if they're necessary or not, we'll kind of start cleaning those up. So let's go ahead and example 1 and start by saying, hey, I know x is 2 and z is -4, so I'm going to rewrite this expression as 2 times 4 times 6 minus 4 times 4 squared times 5. Oh, my x was 2, not 4. Okay, hang on, I have to restart that. I really do apologize. X is 2, z is -4. I kind of tried to combine those. So 2 times 2 times 6 minus 4 times 2 squared times 5 times -4 minus 6 divided by 3. So as you can see, I have a kind of a lot of parentheses going on. But that's okay because PEMDAS is going to help me to sort through it. So I look and I see that the first thing I'm going to do is I have parentheses around this 2, but all it's really doing is symbolizing that there's multiplication going on here. There's nothing I can do to simplify that 2. I look here inside of these bigger sets of parentheses and I see some things are going on. I have 6 subtract 4 times 2. So I'm going to do the 4 times 2 first. Same thing looking at this set of parentheses. I see I have multiplication, subtraction, and division. So I'm going to go ahead and do my multiplication and my division here and then subtract those two answers from each other. So multiplying these, I get 2 times 2 is 4 times 6 minus 8 squared because I multiplied the 4 and the 2. 5 times -4 is -20. Subtract 6 divided by 3. Again, I don't know what that is, but I know as a fraction 6 over 3 reduces to, I lied, I do know what that is, that's 2. Sorry. So now from here, I want to finish my parentheses. So the 4 is going to drop down. 6 minus 8 is -2 squared. -20 minus 2 is -22, same sign, so I add and keep the same sign. So now I'm done with my parentheses. Now I have to do my exponents. Well, since the negative is inside of parentheses, I know -2 times -2 is going to give me a +4 and -22. So from here, notice all I have left is multiplication. So I know 4 times 4 is 16, so I'm going to have 16 times -22. I have no idea what that is, so I'm going to do one of two things. I'm either going to go through the multiplication the long way, or I'm going to go ahead and plug it into my calculator. For time reasons on this video, I'm going to put it into my calculator, and I will tell you in a minute here what I get. I get -352 as my final answer after evaluating that expression. I think I have a total of 3 examples here. So again, this is a good type of problems where just go ahead and try them and then see how you do in comparison to the answer I get. So I'm going to go ahead and evaluate example 2. Again, pause the video, try it on your own first. And I get negative. I'm going to plug in a -2 minus 4. Notice I always again plug in with parentheses to begin with. Those are not going to be necessary. It's not going to change the problem any if I hadn't had those parentheses, but it's a good habit to be in. Minus. So the negative on the B drops down, and then in place of B, I'm going to put -5. So again, notice that those parentheses maybe make it a little bit less confusing. The subtract sign drops down, and then I'm going to plug in -2. I'll close the back of that parenthesis and then divide it by 2. So again, I have a lot of parentheses. Well, this one isn't really doing anything for me, so I'm going to go ahead inside of these parentheses and do -2 minus 4. Inside of these ones, I'm going to go ahead and say -5 is going to be positive, minus a -2 is going to become positive. So I'm going to have minus -2 minus 4 is -6. That's going to become +5 and +2. Well, now I have finishing my parentheses, but I'm going to also do my exponent at the same time. Negative 6 squared, this is going to give me 36. This negative out in front of the parentheses will drop down. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Negative 6 squared, negative 6 times negative 6 is going to give me positive 36, but this negative will drop down. And then, of course, 5 plus 2 will give me 7. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and do my division. I don't know 7 divided by 2, so I'm going to go ahead and write it as a fraction. I know that in order to now subtract, I need a common denominator. So 36 and 1 times 2. That gives me negative 72 over 2 minus 7 over 2. Well, signs are the same, so I add them and I get negative 79 halves. And that's where I will stay. Okay, looking at one final example here with evaluating. This one's kind of similar to the last one in the aspect that there's a lot of negatives involved. So I'm going to scoot this up. And I'm going to start by plugging in. I'm going to have 4 times negative 4 divided by negative 4 in parentheses squared minus negative 3 in parentheses squared plus 4 times negative 3. I want to point something out. If these parentheses weren't here, I would get a different answer than I would if they were there. Remember before in the beginning I talked about the difference between negative 4 squared versus negative 4 squared. Okay, remember negative 4 squared, the top one without parentheses, exponents first, 4 times 4 is 16, then the subtract sign giving me negative 16. The second one, negative 4 times negative 4, since that is the quantity being squared, is positive 16. So if I had not plugged these in parentheses, I would either get the wrong answer, or if I happen to get the right answer, then I'm making another mistake in the process. So going ahead now and doing order of operations, I have my exponents. I'm going to also have some multiplication here. So I'm going to multiply, exponent, exponent, multiply. So I'm going to get negative 16 divided by positive 16 minus positive 9 plus negative 12. Division, negative 16 divided by 16 is negative 1 minus 9 plus negative 12. Well, negative 1 and negative 9 is negative 10 plus negative 12, same signs, gives me negative 22 for my final answer after evaluating. So big thing with evaluating, make sure nothing changes except for the variable. Even if, for example, in that second one, there's a negative in front of the variable, the negatives in front stay in. Make sure to plug in parentheses, so like the third example, you don't make mistakes when you're doing your exponents.